In May 2009, Prospero travelled to Burma and Cambodia to identify projects for potential donors. Little is reported on Burma in the West. The Orange Revolution in September 2007 placed it under the media spotlight. Then it faded from sight until May 2008 when cyclone Nargis ravaged the Irrawaddy Delta. An estimated 150,000 died. Tens of thousands were displaced. Aid agencies were severely delayed by the secretive Myanmar government, causing international outcry. 10 days later, the Sichuan earthquake hit China, eclipsing the cyclone victims from the media spotlight. 1 year on from Cyclone Nargis, I travelled to the Delta to see what aid agencies had achieved and to learn what challenges still face survivors. MBeen are a local group who, with Prospero's support, was set up immediately after the cyclone. As Burmese nationals, they are able to reach areas that others weren't. This makes them unique. MBeen distributed water, food and emergency supplies to 35,000 people. Today, their focus is education. 1,407 schools were destroyed in the cyclone. MBeen is one of a group of NGOs who have committed to building schools from scratch. They had undertaken rebuilding 3. Each school costs £8,000. I visited the opening of one under the watchful gaze of government officials. The need for education is not confined to rural areas. In Yangon, it is monks and nuns who champion the cause. Here, I visited 5 projects tending to orphans, unwanted and vulnerable children, clothing them and providing them with the education to realise their potential. Education and health are arguably the most pressing concerns. They're also linked. Burma has been a closed country for almost half a century. Intellectual progressiveness has been suppressed. Medical education is no exception. Less than 1% of GDP is spent on healthcare. This is one of the lowest levels in the world. I came across a handful of organisations offering quality healthcare, including Merlin and Better Burmese Healthcare. While I was able to film educational initiatives under the protection of monks and nuns during my trip, travel restrictions for foreigners and a culture of suspicion made it impossible to capture health projects on film. Decades of isolation and conflict have devastated Cambodia. Despite the growth of a thriving development sector since the entry of the United Nations in the early 90s, there is an almost total lack of basic infrastructure. This was immediately clear in Anglong Ven, the former Khmer Rouge stronghold where I visited Feed for the Hungry International's community development project. The area was home to Pol Pot and the leaders of the Khmer Rouge until 1998. It is a marginalised and hated community. Healthcare is largely absent despite a prevalence of malaria, dengue fever and waterborne disease. Where it is available, this illiterate and unemployed community cannot afford it. Though most have been cleared, minefields remain. Children are not at school. It is a desolate place. Feed for the Hungry are working here doing community development and capacity building, but it's not clear if their initiatives are effective. This shack that the community refer to as a school has never been used. It clearly illustrates the problems of the real Cambodia. Despite the government's commitment that all Cambodians should have access to primary education, many do not. Only 1.7% of GDP is invested in education each year, despite 60% of the population being under the age of 20. In both urban and rural areas, pitiful teacher salaries make a teaching career virtually impossible. Children are often expected to pay a stipend to teachers that their parents can ill afford, so often they don't. Children instead begin working from as young as 3, forfeiting their education in favour of long hours earning as little as 2 pence per day. I visited several exceptional organisations who supported families in getting their children to school. This includes paying teachers' salaries, educational materials, uniforms, dental treatment, vocational training and additional classes. It also included incentives such as giving families the equivalent amount of rice that their children would earn in a day working, and education for parents about the poverty cycle. I was particularly impressed by Betia Beta and Colt in Phnom Penh and Soid in Siem Reap. These small, local organisations help give children the quality of education that they would otherwise only dream of. There is a self-evident and urgent need for support in both Burma and Cambodia. However, the scale of the challenges can make knowing where to give and who to trust daunting. On this trip, Prospero has identified local organisations committed to reaching the most vulnerable, where minimal funding will have maximum impact.